It may look like a picturesque setting for a calm, serene day on the river. But this is one of the busiest illegal trafficking routes in the world. Day and night, makeshift rafts cross the river border between Guatemala and Mexico. It never stops. They bring cargo loads of everything: alcohol, food, weapons and drugs. But also these days, the most precious and fought over cargo of all: humans. And there's a steady stream, seemingly without end. Most are heading north for the United States. The majority are escaping violent South and Central American countries. But there is now a new, previously unthought of and unexpected phenomenon. Thousands upon thousands coming from around the world, all trafficked by ruthless, multinational people smuggling syndicates who use drug cartels and crime gangs to protect a business worth millions every week. It's a chilly, misty morning in Guatemala. The latest group of travelers hoping to get to Mexico and the United States gather at a secret location. The group is escaping the gang violence and poverty of Nicaragua, El Salvador and Honduras. All want to make a new start, and they believe that this is the best way. But their journey is fraught with danger. They're being smuggled by a crime gang, a syndicate with a network throughout South and Central America and stretching right into the United States. This unmarked mountain crossing has never been filmed before. It's taken months for Sky News to get permission from the traffickers' cartel bosses. On board are two young girls. Daniela is 16 and Carla is 14 years old. They seem unaware how vulnerable they are and how dangerous their trip is, although they admit they and their families are concerned. Are you scared of this trip? Are the family scared?
Sí, muy asustada porque es primera vez que viajo. Mi familia nunca hemos salido, entonces sí está preocupado mis papás porque voy a salir, porque voy lejos, porque no sé si los voy a volver a ver. Entonces sí está preocupado.
What has driven you to move? And you're very young, so what has driven it now?
¿Por qué ahora? ¿Qué es lo que te impulsa a hacerlo ahora? Eres bastante joven, ¿por qué lo estás haciendo ahora?
Porque tengo a mis hermanitos y que a veces no tenemos para comer, nos hace falta la comida y nos hace falta dinero. Y pues como yo he decidido salir de mi hogar para poder sacarlos adelante, yo también sé que estoy pequeña, pero lo hago por mi familia y porque los quiero y porque quiero que tengan una mejor vida.
This man is the group's guide all the way to the United States. They're called coyotes. He is a gang member. Crucially, he has the phone numbers and passwords to get past the dozens of gangs that lie ahead of them. But there is no guarantee any of them will be safe.
Sí, se escucha que en México es muy peligroso, pero si haces el trato con un coyote que tenga contactos en todo México, no hay problema, porque el coyote se va reportando con la mafia, judicial, federal, migración o no sé, toda clase de delincuente. El coyote se va hablando con ellos, ¿verdad? Y les va pagando, les va pagando. Por eso el viaje de cada inmigrante de aquí de Guatemala para Estados Unidos sale caro, porque ese dinero lo van repartiendo, van pagando todo para que no les hagan daño.
The simple fact is that almost all people attempting this journey are touched by violent crime in some form or other. Robbery and assault are almost guaranteed, and the abduction of young girls and their subsequent imprisonment in brothels is so common that the crimes aren't even investigated. Almost all of the girls working the streets in the Mexican border town of Tapachula, where virtually all migrants pass, started their professional lives still dreaming of an ordinary life in the United States. Carolina is typical. She crossed the Mexican border trying to get to the United States. Within minutes, though, she was abducted by a man offering her a lift. It was the start of a life of prostitution.
Cuando ingresé a la frontera de Guatemala con México, que fue lo primero que me pasó, pues me llevaron a un lugar y yo no sabía, pues, y me vendieron ahí, tuve que pagar, pues, todo ese dinero que le pagaron al triciclero, lo tuve que pagar yo. Ahí fue donde empezó la rutina.
And when you say you were sold, you arrived at a building and people, basically, you were then imprisoned and you couldn't leave? What happened?
Hasta que pagara el dinero que debía, 1,000 quetzales cada uno.
And have you gone beyond that now? Are you feel better now?
Sí.
¿Cómo te sientes ahora?
Más que todo libre. Libre conmigo misma y pues tengo que echarle ganas porque tengo 2 hijos y pues los tengo que sacar adelante. La niña ya está grande, pero no la tengo yo, la tiene mi mamá. Pero más que todo me siento libre conmigo misma. Si quiero vengo a trabajar y si no, no, nadie me dice nada, nadie me regaña en eso. Y antes no era así.
This is Tapachula in southern Mexico. It's at the center of the trafficking business. Most new arrivals to Mexico pass through here. A myriad of cheap hotels where the travelers await their next move. One of the largest of the new traveling communities come from India, Pakistan and Bangladesh. There are 5 curry houses on this street alone. Each are paying between $30,000 and $50,000 to the smuggling syndicates. The new arrivals get an affectionate hug. Despite the VIP costs, the journey through 5 or 6 countries to this point has been horrendous. Where in America would you like to go?
It's like in California.
19-year-old Sim Ranjit says he is traumatized by his trip with the smuggling syndicates. He was robbed by both the military and the police, and in Panama watched as injured travelers were executed and women routinely raped.
Mafia has weapon, lots of weapon like gun, sword. They kill if man not survive in the jungle.
We've heard that women are attacked quite a lot. Did that happen? The gangs? Were they raped?
Yeah, that's exactly. In Nicaragua, mafia rape every girl who crossing the jungle.
His story, though, is not unusual. Aid agencies say they've heard it many times before. What wasn't so well understood until now is the size and the sophistication of the smuggling operation. Hammy, another Indian on his way to the United States, says the trafficking syndicates have operatives in every country on the route, have a network of guides to transport the human cargo, and can buy off corrupt officials across continents.
There are some little agents in India, and they also have contact in Delhi. And Delhi peoples have contact in like other countries. And those are the men who control everything. There are 50 to 60 person under them. They control them from out of Latin America. I think so that my agent is in Europe. Like he's controlling all these things from Europe.
The agents who organise the smuggling of people from all over the world have developed close working relationships with cartel bosses and their gang members in over half a dozen different countries along the route to the United States. But making contact with them is difficult and dangerous. Nogales in northern Mexico is over 1,000 miles north of the gathering point for the international travellers in Tapachula. The border fence stretches out for miles on either side and right through the centre of Nogales. Families split by the fence often meet at weekends to say hello. Physically, they're just inches apart. In reality, they could be split forever. The ever-present sound of the railway, with trains passing across the border, is a reminder that legitimate traffic isn't hampered by the fence. With the right contacts, the illegal traffic isn't either. We're travelling to a secret location to meet the people who make the crossing possible. They're part of the Sinaloa Cartel, a vast, powerful crime organisation. They traffic people these days, but their business was founded on drugs.
Yeah.
They take both businesses very seriously.
So you have an armed guard always, obviously.
Yeah, you can see over here, there's the store, which is the drugs they call marijuana.
Uh-huh.
There's a stop if you want to see exactly what I got.
The success of the people smuggling operation is founded on the now well-documented but nonetheless staggering efficiency of the drug cartels to move their product, be it marijuana, cocaine, heroin, crystal meth or people, to its final destination.
So this is Mexican?
Yes.
Right.
It's a dangerous business. The gang members never stop checking for suspicious movement outside their so-called warehouse, a flat to you and me. The business depends on the link between the various groups over vast distances to coordinate the movement of the cargo, just as the Indian boys witnessed.
They say that they pay there and then they pass from one person to another person to another person, or they come all the way through from South America, from Central America to here.
It's like that.
Are you part of that? I mean, you know they're coming.
Yeah.
Do you know these people are coming?
Yeah.
Even from a long time before?
Yes. Because, you know, like say, you live in Guatemala, right?
Mm-hmm.
You send me people to here.
Mm-hmm.
So you call me, let me know. So, no, I send 2 guys, 3, 4, 5 guys.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. The people, when you cross to Mexico and Chula Vista,
Mm-hmm.
no, Buena Vista, La Chiapas.
Mm-hmm.
So this is different guy. You know, they call me, you know, they got the guys already.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then when get to Mexico, and the different guy that comes, you know, the people is in Mexico. So when they send it to Nogales, it's like that.
Okay, so it's really well organised.
Yeah.
For us, seeing how they work is the key. We've been given permission to join a smuggling operation. It's mostly done on foot.
This is the last bit of the journey by car. Very shortly we're going to be dropped off and we're going to begin the walk. We can't show any faces. There's 2 of the guys here who are going to be going across the border into the United States, all things being equal. We have people with us who are going to show us the way, and then we'll obviously come back.
It's the first time they've let outsiders in, and it's never been filmed. On board, a somewhat terrified traveller is preparing to jump the border north. They want us to move quickly as the night closes in. This is a popular route with competing gangs, and they rent access to the border by the hour. In the red and white shirt is Pedro, a guide. They're known as coyotes, wild desert dogs who know the routes to the USA.
But is it quite easy getting over?
Pedro tells me it's not easy. There's surveillance cameras and border patrols everywhere.
It's more difficult because now it's a lot of surveillance.
Okay, we're getting near the border now. That's why we've gone into night shot. It's getting very dark out here. And they're very, very jumpy. They keep checking, seeing if people are coming, people if anyone around. That's not so much actually the authorities, but more other gangs, because everyone uses these routes. And they can be very, very dangerous as a result of that, because they'll start fighting amongst themselves.
The boy has paid $5,000 to cross. He hopes to change his family's fortunes back home, and they've stumped up the cash. They move forward, a quick wave, and they're gone. The wall, a dark line, a short distance away.
Apparently there's heat sensors.
There's probably people around you. We should go.
Okay, we should go. Well, there are heat sensors on the... There are heat sensors on the fence, which is just there, which is why they won't let us go any nearer. But the guys have disappeared, and now there's other people, we think, coming. So we've got to get out of here. They didn't want us to get right next to the fence because we'd be seen quite quickly. Now it's time to go.
And then we're off. Another customer in a multi-million-dollar business delivered. Despite appearances, this is a lot more sophisticated than simply a case of jumping a fence. It is through here that the cartels move their cargo, be it people or drugs. The vast deserts and tundra of northern Mexico and the southern United States divide the two countries. It's inhospitable, boiling hot for much of the year, impossible to police and easy to get lost in. The 2,000-mile border is for large sections little more than a wire fence with a few bits of old railway line welded together. It might stop cattle, but not much else.
You gotta be ready to draw and shoot.
Yeah. It's like the Wild West.
It is the Wild West.
Yeah.
Jim Chilton is a fifth-generation rancher in Arizona. Thousands of smuggled people and tons of drugs are transported across his land every year, a fact he blames on the failure of the authorities to stop it.
Essentially, the Sinaloa cartel has control of this entire area. As you've noticed, we haven't run into a single Border Patrol agent. That's because they don't come out here. They've left this area basically available to the cartel. We're in a no man's land.
It takes 2 days to ride across Jim's ranch. A large section marks the border between the United States and Mexico. And it's exactly because it's so remote and large that the Mexican smuggling cartels use it as their transport hub. A hub with its own supervisors. And we found them in the tree line. An overwatch position it's known as, and we sent our drone up to take a look. They aren't happy we're watching. They're Sinaloa cartel members, and they're armed. And we're annoying them. And that's a clear message: go away. Unexpectedly though, 2 of the gang start coming down the mountain. We don't know why, and we don't know if they're armed.
I got a Coke. How are you?
No money para comprar cigarettes.
No, no smoke. The cartel? Scout? Your cartel?
They confirm they're Sinaloa members from Culiacan, the cartel's headquarters.
Culiacán, Sinaloa. No cigarette? No?
So what do you think, guys? Here the guys, they're the ones directing people. They say there's been 11 over here in the last few days. 11 groups.
11 groups.
Or 11 people. It's difficult to be certain.
Well, very interesting.
Yeah. I mean, this is sort of the crazy thing that we're divided by a piece of barbed wire, right? Yeah. And some railway track. Adios.
The cartel scouts say they'll be on the hill for the next few months. The matter-of-fact nature of the cartel scouts going about their overwatch business isn't lost on the US border authorities. They can't do anything to stop them. They know the smuggling of people is incessant, and they know that the business, while on the face of it helps people achieve their dream of reaching the United States, it is in fact lawless, exploitative, and very often nothing more than a con.
These are very unscrupulous people. They see whether it's drugs or people as just cargo. It's a financial gain for an illicit endeavor, and it's very heartbreaking for us to see that. We see people put through extreme temperatures. We're fortunate enough today that the temperature's mild. Just a couple of weeks ago, it was well over 100 degrees in most of our areas. So people are pushed through those areas at the hands of the smugglers. They dictate where people are going to cross and how they're going to cross. And many times, more often than not, it's a very difficult and daunting task for the average person trying to cross there. The average migrant that might be putting their hands and their life in the hands of a smuggler.
The sheer numbers of people risking everything, even death, chasing the dream of a new life in the United States, has turned into a global epidemic. The trafficking syndicates are promising a cure to endemic poverty and violence in countries around the world, are simply profiting from the desire for a better life. We know the girls made it to Mexico, we were with them. But where they are now, we don't know, and we probably never will. They could now just be another statistic of trafficking crime.